Hello and welcome to Fire Engineering's Training Minute videos. My name's Leigh Hollins. I'm a Battalion Chief in the Training Division at Cedar Hammock Fire Rescue here in Manatee County, Florida. We're at the Emergency Services Training Facility, and the topic that we will be discussing are realistic training props. Anytime we're using any type of prop, what we're doing is we're using something to create a desired outcome. Is the main goal of why we're using that particular prop. So it doesn't matter what you call it, it's going to be used for the same outcome. Of course, we have learned through different classes on course delivery and so forth on how people learn and how they retain knowledge. There are certain formats that training is delivered in, such as lecture, video, just reading material, or hands-on training. And what we've learned is that hands-on training, that is where a person will retain the most knowledge. And knowledge is going to be the key for us, because knowledge is not what you're taught, knowledge is what you remember. And the hands-on training will be the type of training where you will be able to retain the most information, therefore turning it into knowledge by using realistic training props. Now, if we even look deeper into how people learn, we will find that repetitive actions will help a person to learn techniques and remember techniques. Sort of when a person might go, what you say, on autopilot and do things instinctively. Also, there's another type that's called stimulus response. Stimulus response would be if you perform a certain technique over and over and over again, you become stimulated to doing a certain action so that when you're faced with that in real life, you will perform that action as a response. And as we go even deeper, there's a learning technique called RPD. And what that is recognition, prime decision making. It means if, then. In other words, if this happens, then you will perform a certain way. So with the recognized prime decision making, there's a couple of different ways to look at this. One would be someone that is inexperienced, and an inexperienced person, when they're faced with a task that they need to perform, especially when it is a life-saving situation, an inexperienced person will go through their mind and they will pick out 3 or 4 or 5 slides, if you will, in their head of some training that they've had, and an inexperienced person will choose the best one for that particular situation. However, for the recognition prime decision making of an experienced person, what will happen is that they will go to one slide and they will perform that function. So it goes specifically right from, if this happens, then you do this. So that's recognition prime decision making. So this is why we need to use realistic training and realistic props. That's going to be the key if we're going to learn the proper way. You're trying to create a desired outcome. Desired outcome equals success. That's what it's all about. If we're training someone for a desired outcome with a realistic training prop, we're looking for success, not only in training, but we're also looking for success in real life. So to give you a couple of examples, or what we might call analogies, we would look at, for instance, a baseball player. When a baseball player that's a hitter is successful, we call that batting 1,000. In the music business, specifically, a local area band has local ties here, the Allman Brothers Band. They call that hitting the note. If they're playing right on and everything's going well and they're being successful, they're hitting the note. If we look at the military might call that mission accomplished. In the fire service, we may use the term mission accomplished also. Another term we might use for success would be outstanding. And I'm borrowing that from Captain Terry Hatton from FDNY Rescue 1. That was his saying, outstanding, and unfortunately, Captain Hatton was lost on 9/11. So when we talk about success, we can also look at the operation that killed Osama bin Laden. You have Navy SEAL Team 6, and they were using RPD. They had trained over and over and over again, and they were experienced at that RPD. So these SEALs used some type of a prop. What did they use? they use a full-scale mock-up of the compound where they killed Osama bin Laden that they had constructed in Afghanistan. And they used that prop over and over and over until it became second nature for them, and they were able to carry out that mission. So when these SEALs had problems, such as they had a chopper that they could not remove from the compound, they went right to slide number one. They knew exactly what to do to solve that problem. So that's an example of success and using RPD in training. One last one might be Captain Sullenberger, who landed on the Hudson River. That particular captain had trained for that specific type of landing over and over and over again. He had done it on simulators, and he had done it in his head until it became second nature. And when it happened, when he needed to make the decision, he went to that one slide from his training, and he turned that into a successful mission. So it all comes down to using realistic training props. That's going to be the key. With the next few sessions of Training Minute videos, we're going to look at a prop called Fort Rescue, which has many different variations that can be used for training. We're going to look at a confined space prop. We'll also look at a self-contained breathing apparatus survival maze. We'll be dealing with an underground gas line mock-up, as well as an LPG fire mock-up that we will show you in various Training Minute videos. One other that we will use will be a structure fire mock-up that has a ventilation prop on the top, and we will be doing an individual segment on each of those props. So check out the other segments on training props, and thank you very much for watching Fire Engineering Magazine's Training Minute videos. I'm Leigh Hollins.